Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Rusty from Poker's Corner, biggest going sport. Today we're joined by Kent from Northern Ireland. How are you doing, Kent?
Good morning, Russell. How you doing? All right?
All right, mate. Yeah, I'm okay. Been out with my dogs, bit of training.
I hope you're still
Feel
not running. I hope you're still not running in them Lacoste trainers.
are they any good? Night waffle. What?
No.
No, are they not good now?
Nah.
I'm going to get some high-tech Silver Shadow.
You can get green ones now in them in blue and all sorts of colours.
Hey,
in them.
listen. If they're good enough for SAS, you know, when you go SAS and Army, the Army issue, aren't they? High-tech Silver Shadow. They have been for years, haven't they? So, anyway. How you been? You all right?
Dead on, Russell. Yeah, I'm dead on.
You not at work today?
No, I'm off for a few days. I think I've got COVID again, so I'm gonna take a few days off.
Don't be giving me that, Ken. I want to go straight in on the Derek Chisora thing. You've seen what he said. What's your take on that? Because nobody wants to speak about it at the moment on social media or in mainstream media. What's your take on it?
I think he's just being stupid.
Yeah.
I think he's just being completely stupid, and he doesn't actually think about what he has said. So if you actually think about it and you break it down, and you think, all right, well, whose event was it?
You what?
Who organized the event?
Saudis, didn't they? Oh, I don't
Right.
know who
Okay.
said. Yeah, Saudi. Yeah.
Okay. So Skills Challenge organized the event. He works for Skills Challenge.
Yeah, and he's running around saying that.
So what's he also he said what he said, but by saying what he said, what does that say for Skills Challenge?
They're not. Well, they're from that sort of country where they throw people off buildings, don't they, and cut their hands off for nicking a bit of fish.
So it's just Derek being stupid. It was on TNT Sport, so they're the broadcaster. So by saying that, what is he saying? What does that make? What is he saying about them and then as well? So he's just being completely stupid, Russell. It's just stupid. It's just completely stupid. Derek Chisora has had more hidings than anyone in British boxing the last 5 years. Even when Derek Chisora wins, he gets a hiding. So I don't think there's a brain cell left in Derek Chisora's head. He's completely stupid. It was a stupid comment, and it's just Derek Chisora. No, the reason no one's really picking up on it is because it's Derek Chisora. He's absolutely stupid, and I think he looked like he was drunk. Do you think he looked drunk?
You think that because it's Derek, it's a bit like when John Fury comes out with these crazy statements and does crazy stuff. Do you think people just go, "Oh, it's John Fury or it's Derek"? They're not cases kind of thing. But if it was somebody who had any credibility, I'm not going to say any names here, but if it was somebody with some credibility in boxing and they said it, they'd be all over it, wouldn't they?
If it was a television presenter, a newsreader,
Yeah,
a radio presenter, somebody who's got a high profile in the media, yeah, absolutely. But it's getting to a stage now where John has talked so much nonsense in podcasts. He said so many things over the last 2 years. No matter what he does now, people are bored of it. People are sick of it. Same as Derek. People are absolutely sick of it. You look at the views on YouTube, it's nowhere near what it was 2 years ago. So I think it's just one of them things that just went over people's heads.
yeah. All right, now let's move on from them two because they're utter cranks. Kent, was it a low blow? Yes or no?
I think it was a low blow.
Yeah.
I've looked at it. You see all the angles and multiple pictures, multiple stills. You see it fast. You just I've seen it a lot of times. And it always depends on the angle. And I always go back to what did I actually think when I was watching it live? It was a low blow. And no matter what, my instinct was, yeah, it's a low blow. And you look at the photo, not one part of that glove landed on skin on his tummy. No, not one part of that glove landed on his tummy at all. So it was a low blow. I was listening last. I remember as the fight actually was happening, and everybody around the arena, their instincts, the referee, it was a low blow, and you hear something coming from Dubois' corner. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. So was that something that they planned to do? Was that something they planned to do on the halfway part of the fight?
After the weigh-in, he did an interview, Delicate Daniel Dubois, or Desperate Dan. Desperate Dan did an interview, and he said he was going to get down and dirty, low blows, even heads, elbows, call that
Kicking.
a spear, don't kick, knee. No, he said knees, didn't he? Knees.
Yeah.
And he said it.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's what he said in the interview, didn't he? So whether that's just to hype the fight up because it's pay-per-view, I don't know. And he's a young lad, and he 26 next week, and that, so he's got all his career ahead of him. But for him to come out with that won't look good for his appeal, will it?
It just looked completely stupid. I remember I watched that interview and I said to myself, well, that's okay, Daniel. If that's your game plan to win this fight, you obviously haven't prepared. You haven't been prepared properly. If that's your game plan and winning that fight, well, you will be disqualified and you'll probably never get another opportunity again on a massive platform like TNT. The investment in him has been massive, and I don't think Frank Warren would have given him that opportunity. So that is absolutely nonsense. If that was in his head going into that fight, that was just completely stupid. Stupid.
What does it say about his team where they wanted to throw him back in there with a guy who's basically just broke him mentally and beat him up? What does it say about his team? They wanted to put him back in there with him again.
I went all porky and work there on Monday, and everyone was talking about it, and I just had enough about it. I couldn't listen to it anymore, and I stood up and I just turned around and says, "What's Daniel Dubois' best 3 wins?" And nobody could answer me. Nobody could answer me. And they said, "Yeah, he's a puncher. He's a puncher's chance." With me, no, he's not a puncher. Who's he knocked out? Who has he knocked out at world level? So you look at it and you look at it with retrospective. He didn't win a round in that fight. He didn't win a round in that fight. What other big shot did he land in that fight that give Usyk any trouble?
He threw a few punches in third, didn't he? A bit more than he did in 1 and 2. But the fifth, I thought, if you gave fifth to shut him up, you couldn't really give him any other rounds, could you really? But the fifth, really, if they don't count that as a knockdown, which it weren't, the referee went foul, unintentional, right? And then told the judges after, he didn't get around, did he really?
No, he didn't. And you know, as we spoke about on Saturday night, it didn't seem like they had any idea really on how to beat Usyk other than foul. You know, low blows. He talked about it. What we said moments ago, they hadn't prepared for Usyk. It's okay getting someone fit. A boxer should be fit anyway, especially a championship level boxer. But he didn't deserve the right to be in the ring with Usyk in the first place. Let's be honest there. Who did he beat in his last 5 fights getting into that give him the right to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, Kevin Lorena fight, didn't they ring the bell early in that one to save him?
Well, he was a cruiserweight.
Yeah, but I know, but when he fought Kevin Lorena before he fought Usyk, the bell rung early in one of the rounds where he was in trouble. Was that the first round?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'd been down 3 times on it. He'd had 3 counts on it. Right.
Yeah, in that fight.
I'm not sure what can I don't because I haven't watched this recently. Can anybody tell me how long we're left in the round when when the bell rung? Because one of the rounds he was saved. And didn't Shane McGuigan turn around to him and say, "Don't you quit on me, don't you quit on me." He said something like that to him. So Shane must have seen quit in him. At some point while he's been training him. Don't you quit on me. Remember that. So if he's got quit in him, like Victor Ortiz, because he was knocking everybody out at one point, Victor Ortiz, wasn't it? Everybody he fought for a few years, they'd all hit the deck, even the ones he'd lost in, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's another Victor Ortiz.
We go back to the Joyce fight, and he got rinsed for that there. He really did get rinsed for that there, and it seemed to be, they were talking the way they were talking about that. He was going to be out for a year. It was career threatening. It wasn't long back after that, in the gym training, and he got an opportunity to fight Bob Dandino for an eliminator against Bob Dandino. That says it all.
Bob Dandino from Bognor Regis. Pop, bang on that one. Right?
That's the state of the WBA. And suppose it's not his fault. When you get an opportunity to fight an eliminator against Bob Dandini for a portion of the WBA title, you take it. But to be honest with you, he shouldn't have had the right to be there, and I don't know why they're crying for a rematch. He didn't win a round. He didn't win a round in that fight.
What would you do with Desperate Dan now?
It's one of them predicaments that you're in as a fighter, and he got a lot of money for that on Saturday night. Much would you got for that? 3 million, 3.5?
2 million he got, didn't he?
Well, that's big money. So when you go from getting an opportunity from 2 million to come down to probably 100K, if that, it's a massive drop in money. It's a massive drop for your manager, for your promoter, for your trainers. It's all that there. It's going to be a lot harder to put in more effort in training camp, maybe bring better sparring in for less money. So it's going to be, of course they're going to cry blue murder, and they're going to go for a rematch. But for me, he hasn't been matched right from day one. They haven't had the quality. He hasn't had the investment in matching from day one. So it looks like it's just going to be the same thing. They'll bring guys over that he'll wipe out in 1 or 2 rounds, and they'll go again. Possibly, do you think they will go down the Joe Joyce route again? Winner of Zhang?
Maybe Joyce. If Zhang touches him up. Joe's 38 in a couple of weeks. So if he fought Daniel, it'd be 38 and a half. And he'd have miles on the clock if Zhang does him again. And he's into his 39th year. Dubois be 26 and a half. They look at that and say, I've got 12 year on him. Let's even that score. Put that right. That's what I think they do. But it's a tough one, because my own personal opinion is this. Speaking as a boxing person, I'd like to think I am, and if I was sat in boxing company, this is what I'd say. He turned pro too early. That's the first thing. Too young when he turned pro. They had a few quid dangled in front of him because he dropped Joshua at the EIS. We agree on that, don't we?
Yeah.
So he's dropped the Olympic champion up at the EIS. So they fought. And he were a world champion at the time when he dropped him and just won the world title.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Right. So he's dropped the world champion and Olympic champion up at the EIS at Sheffield. He's in the GB team. So the word spreads. The word gets to Bricktop, who's gone with tabs like Spencer Juggears Oliver. I'll come to you in a bit, Juggears. Only if you rinse your mouth out with TCP or hot salty water, though. Right. So the word's got to Bricktop, and he's made an offer. They've accepted an offer to sign with Bricktop for 6 figures, apparently. So Bricktop signed him up. And then they touted him as going to be the next Mike Tyson, who's going to beat Mike Tyson's record. Am I right? as the youngest world champion. You're 26 next week, and he's already quit twice. So all that momentum's gone now. They're in bed with him, and they're saying they've invested in him, so they want their investment back because he's fragile. He's like Humpty Dumpty, right? All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again, right? So now they're in bed with him, they're in deep, so they want their money back. Greed reaches inside you. Or they can go the other way. They can scream blue murder for an Usyk rematch and still make out that we're the unofficial world champion. We were robbed. They can go down that route and go for big fights and get big paydays. Or they can say, he's 26 years old. We got it wrong with him. He wasn't what we thought. Let's rebuild for 2 or 3 years and go again. They've got David Adelaide. He'd take that fight in a heartbeat, David Adelaide. He's a Bricktop fighter, TNT Sports. That's an in-house fight. Bricktop always goes on about, why don't Eddie make this fight? Why don't Eddie make that fight? They're in-house fights. You've got one on your lap here with David Adelaide. Or you can work with Fabio Wardley and put him in with him. Because Dylan White don't want to work with Eddie Hills no more, does he? The can man. So there's 2 fights there he can go for. He can either go for Fabio Wardley or David Adelaide, or he can go to America for 6 months without a trainer. He don't need a trainer to go over there. He needs to go over there on his own, right? Without anybody holding his hand, like we've just seen on TalkSport. Wherever he goes, he's got to have people around him answering for him. And every time he's stuttering, if they can't answer for him, you've got Spencer Oliver answering for him. Let him grow up. He's a man-child. No, he is. He's a 14-year-old immature lad in a man's body, right? That's what he is. Send him to America. Let him go to Gleason's or let him go work with Teddy Atlas for 6 months. He don't mean to say that Teddy's going to train him on fight night. He can always come back to UK and go back to Don Charles or whoever. But he's got to grow up. He's got to be left to his own devices to go out there on his own and see what it's all about. Get around them American gyms. He's got a few quid. He can pay his expenses for 6 months. He can live on £1,000 a week out there for 6 months. What's that? 26 grand out of the 2 million he's just got. He'd be lucky to see 700 grand out of that. After that lot have had the pause on it. He's got that many advisors around him. It's unbelievable. Go out there for 6 months. Get rid of all that shower of shit around you. Get rid of the lot of them. The father, the brother, the trainer, the lot of them. Get rid of them all or go grow up. Or stay with them and fight domestic level. Because if you go in with Usyk again, he'll finish you off. And then it'll be good night Vienna. And then he'll be just a gatekeeper. He'll be just a guy who everybody wants to fight then because they know how to get to him. You've only got to put it on him, you know, for him to crack. Once they start putting it on him, he don't like it, does he? He's like Mike Tyson. Do you remember Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
When did Mike Tyson ever win a fight when they were putting it on him? He didn't. He quit, didn't he? He quit in them all, didn't he?
Yeah.
Quit against, well, not Buster Douglas. He got bashed up against Buster Douglas, didn't he? He quit against Holyfield twice, didn't he? He looked for a way out at the second one with Hero. And he quit against Kevin McBride and the kid
Danny Williams.
There you go. Ali, when he lost, he didn't quit in any of them. He wouldn't quit against Larry Holmes, did he? Ali never quit. They were all quitting him. So there's something wrong up here. So I'd go domestic route. If you're going to keep all your team around him, it's going to be hard to get rid of father, isn't it? Oh, let me tell you. But you can still work with them and just go away from them for 6 months. Get a mental coach, sports psychologist, and start again. You're 26. Start again. Joe Joyce is only 7-0. He's Fraser Clark's 7-0. He's 32-year-old. Dave Allen's only 31. Look at mileage Dave's got on clock. Does Dubois want to be a Dave Allen who showed promise up at EIS? Now he's walking around talking like Scooby-Doo. Is that what's going to happen to Daniel Dubois? I'm getting good advice out here. Whether they want to take it or not, I don't know. But who am I anyway? Just a mouth for YouTuber. But I've seen it close and I studied the game. You have. You've seen it close and you've boxed. I haven't. I've only done boxing training. I've never had a boxing fight, have I? Do you know what I mean?
That's quite possibly the best advice he's had in his career. And
Well,
you
it's up
ask
to him,
any,
innit? It's up to him if he takes it.
you ask any heavyweight, and I remember listening to a podcast a long time ago on Scott Walsh. Scott Walsh done the exact same thing, moved out to America, trained out there, sparred the best out there, and he felt that it helped him as a heavyweight because he was getting world-class sparring away without having to ship guys over, pay them, fly them over, put them in hotels. You know, that eats massive chunks out of your purse. He was getting it for free because he was over there living and training in that gym. So it makes perfect sense. And as what you say, it's you grow up when you learn you've actually got responsibilities, when you know you have to pay your rent, when you have to pay your electric, when you have to balance everything out. That's responsibility. That's a part of growing up. And I don't think he has that. And he said something the other day on an interview and before the fight, and it was a red flag for me right away. Honestly, he said that they asked him a question, and he doesn't speak great, and they said to him, you know, what do you think about Saturday night? And he said something along the lines of, yes, I'm looking forward to Saturday night. This is why my dad got me involved in boxing. This is what it's all about. And I said, well, did your dad just get you involved in boxing, or do you actually want to be involved in boxing?
Dads in boxing are a nightmare, aren't they?
So
They are a nightmare, honestly. All of them. A lot. Nightmares. Nightmares. They think they know best, don't they? Some of them have had 8 and 10 managers. They know that much what they're on about. Having 8 and 10 managers, some of these. The dads in boxing. Look how many managers Dave Allen's had, who's advising him. Look, bottom line is this. Just because some dads can have a fight, don't mean to say they know the boxing game, doesn't it? Leave it to experts. You know, your trainer, for example, I always hark back to this. Why, when Mark Tibbs had Dylan White, were Dylan getting involved with all these strength and conditioning men and nutrition men and this and that, and they were giving Mark Tibbs spreadsheets and stuff like that. Mark Tibbs, what's this here you give me here? Oh, this is what he's been doing today. Listen, do you know all these strength and conditioners that have got fighters? You know the plastic ladders that they put on the floor. They're running an attic ladder. Could you imagine Tommy Earns, Jack Dempsey running in and out of that, or George Foreman, or even Ali? I said, what you got me doing here? Strength and conditioners, man. Get gone out the sport of boxing. Get gone. Well, have you seen it? I had one of them. What this American guy, right? He's in gym at Peter Fury's, and he's got Hewitt hitting this like tennis ball that's bouncing off his head. Have you seen him do it?
yeah.
And I was sat there and I never said a word. And I thought to myself, what is that? What's that going to mean when you've got Wilder coming at you, swinging away? What is that going to do? All this pity patty stuff they're doing with pads. Pads don't hit back. I can go to Clinton Woods gym now. Right, Clinton said, I'll make you look good doing that. I can go up there, do all that with Clinton and make me look $1 million. It don't mean say I can fight, does it? Does it? Don't mean nothing,
Ali
does
didn't
it?
do pads. Ali didn't do pads.
Do you know who was one of the first people to take people on pads in London? Jimmy Tibbs. Jimmy Tibbs are one of the first people to start doing pad training in London. Not a lot of people know that, did you? Jimmy Tibbs. That's a true story, mate. That's a true story. Pads is for sharpening up and that, innit? But basically, you have a target on the punch bag. Get stuck into that big heavy bag. And you know where the face is on it and where the body parts, and you hit it in coordination. All this pad stuff don't mean nothing. Like we see these people coming into the sport of boxing, doing all this fancy pad training and all that on social media, and fighters like get mesmerized, don't they, by it? It doesn't mean diddly squat. it don't mean nothing, does it?
I think when you talk about pads and you talk about boxing, it's all down to its fundamentals. It's all down to learning good fundamental skills. Boxing isn't just hitting pads. It's about developing repetition, fundamentals, your balance, your coordination, all that has to be put together. It's just not hitting. But people think they're boxing and they're hitting pads. It's not boxing. Pads don't hit back. It's about developing all them things in unison. Balance, coordination, speed, timing, reflexes. All them things aren't just doing pads. There's so many other things you can do out there to develop all that without doing Instagram and Facebook pad sessions.
Yeah. For all you people who are watching, this is going out today, two-parter. I've got Julian coming on tonight, and that's going to be going out at 11 o'clock tonight. I know it's late, but we need to get stuff out there sharpish. We're not like Big Malk premiering videos and holding on to them. What do you think to Big Malk's Nigel Benn Part 2? Where's that, Kent?
Where is it? Where is it?
Where is it, Big Malk?
He owes me popcorn. I had the popcorn and all out waiting for it Saturday night. I'm sitting there waiting with my popcorn, waiting for Part 2, and it didn't materialize. Come on, Spencer.
Big Malk, your bottle job.
It cost me a night out.
Yeah. The punch to the body. When you get punched in the body, there's a 2-second delay, isn't there? Right. Because your diaphragm, innit? Because you're trying to suck air in, aren't you? And there's no to suck in. Now, do you think that because Usyk went down straight away and there weren't a delay, is that why you're saying it were a low shot to bladder?
It's exhausting, Russell. There's so many,
Don't get upset, Ken. Don't get upset.
They're looking at body language. They're looking at stills. They're looking at, oh, he didn't react that way. He should have reacted that way. It was a low shot. End off.
Yeah.
End off.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. What do you think to all the interviews that are coming out with Ken? There's loads on social media. It's Snyder with him, isn't it?
They love it. They love that because you know why? That what happened on Saturday night makes all them guys relevant, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you mean Fat Francis, the housewife's favourite?
All of them. Frank Warren is going out of his mind. Honestly, and you know who? I'll think about this. Did you see the interview the other night? It was so funny. He was ripping it. He looked like there was steam coming out of his nostrils at one stage and his ears. And they said to him about what did he think of John Fury at the press conference with Tommy. And he looked at him as if to say, don't even talk about them ones around me.
He says, oh, I haven't seen it, didn't he? I haven't seen it. I heard about it, but I've not seen it, so I can't comment. That's because he don't want to go up against the big fella, because he's on the back foot now, when he breaks out.
He's on the back foot. And I thought that was the funniest, that was the best interview, the best comment that I have seen all weekend. The rest of it, it's all about, yes, was it, wasn't it? This is what they should do. This is what they're all there.
Hang on a minute, Ken.
Do me a favour.
Get the emails, George.
Do me a favour.
Listen.
But
yeah, go on. You were saying. Go on.
It's just it's just complete clickbait. It's everything from Saturday night is clickbait. All of it, absolutely all of it. It's like drowning. You're getting drowned in clickbait and absolute nonsense interviews. I haven't really watched any of them because all of it's crap, all of it's nonsense, all of it's clickbait. It wasn't a low blow, and he didn't win a round in the fight. No one's saying that, are they? Why not?
I don't know. Do you feel that he quit?
I think he did. Yeah, he had enough.
Why is
You
nobody
know,
mentioning that he quit? Because this is going, this low blow things covering up the big quit gate, isn't it? Really? Because if there were no low blow, we'd all be saying all the videos would be about him quitting, wouldn't they? Really? And we wouldn't hear a peek out of him, would we?
no, nothing, not a word.
Yeah. Do you want to go to part two, Ken?
Yeah.
Join us in part two.